My mistake was that I was focusing too much on the music and not enough on giving value. Let me explain what I mean in a second. Welcome back, I'm Music by Lucas, a top 100 supported producer, and I'm here to help you reach your goals. I started out my career as a producer trying to think about how I could get record labels to sign my music, how I could get more people to listen to it, how I could get more plays, but that was a mistake. As the years went by, I realized the place that was actually helping my music grow the most was giving value. By giving value, I was able to create an audience here on YouTube with my tutorials, on Instagram with my posts, on my producer website, teammbl.com, with my radio show, and I was able to share my music with that audience. As soon as I stopped spending all of my time working on just music and used a little bit of that time to develop content that gives value to my audience, I started to see success. First, you gotta figure out who your audience is. That way you can know what kind of content they would find valuable. For me, for example, my audience is mainly producers. So when I'm making content, I'm always trying to think what would help these producers grow and reach their goals. Now that you know who your target audience is, you gotta think about what you could do to bring value to them. Again, I have a producer audience, so I would post tips and tutorials on things like how to get signed by a label, how to get supported by a DJ, or what a label email should look like, things like that. You might be unsure about what it is that you can do to give value to your audience. Maybe you also have a producer audience, or you wanna have a producer audience, but you don't feel like you're a good enough producer yet to show them tips, but I can guarantee you you're good enough at something. Because like when I was starting my YouTube channel, I didn't have any signed tracks yet, and my music honestly wasn't good enough at that time to get signed. But what I focused on doing tutorials on was other stuff that I knew about, things that I knew that I could give value on. Maybe you're good at writing bass lines, or you're good with basic chord progressions, or you understand, the top plugins for mastering or something like that. These are all things that you can give valuable content about. Some ideas on how you can figure out your strengths and what you can give value on is talk to, for example, your friends and family, go on Discord, show your tracks to other producers, ask them what they like about your tracks. And again, maybe your stuff that you want to give value on could be non-producer audiences as well. Maybe you're really good with comedy, you're good at a certain sport, you have some other kind of skill that other people would find valuable as well. So now that you know what your strengths are, who your target audience is, and how you're going to give that value, now you got to figure out how you're gonna convert that value into content. What kind of content are you gonna do? There's so many different options, and you can find one that works best for you. Maybe you're not really good at like long form tutorials. You don't wanna do like intense editing on YouTube and stuff. So you can do short tutorials like Instagram Reels that are like 15 seconds, or TikTok, or maybe you wanna do just text posts because you don't really wanna be that extroverted and have your face, or be doing silly videos or something. You wanna just do slider tips or something on Instagram. And then of course there's radio shows, there's podcasts, there's all different formats. And a hot tip is to create a series. Creating a series will make it easier for you to be able to come up with content. So like for example, if there's a certain thing you wanna do, like when I was first starting YouTube, I don't know if you were here then, if you remember, we did like how Mesto is so amazing, how Don Diablo is so amazing, how Hardwell is so amazing. It was a series and people started to really like it, and it also helped us with our content creation because we knew, our go-to video that we could always do. Some examples of what I do series-wise on Instagram, on the Team MBL account, I do some memes like this. I also, on my personal account, do some motivational text posts like this, and some sliders as well with some step-by-step motivational and producer tips. Just have fun, just be creative, just try new things and see what happens. You can always get ideas and tips from other people that are on Instagram and or on YouTube and put your twist on it. You can also get feedback, and you can talk with people about it on Discords like mine. You could use like my social media planner, or you could get a mentor. There's all different options for you to try to create content. Where some artists go wrong: doing things that aren't searchable. For example, they'll just upload their track on Instagram and say, my new track's out now, and expect that people are gonna find it. You have to remember that Instagram and all these other platforms are search engines, so you have to kind of put your content out there, your music out there in a way where people are gonna find it. And that's why it's so important, again, to figure out your target audience and how you can give value to them, because then you know how to package your music, how to basically distribute your music in a way that people are gonna find it. For example, instead of just putting your track out on Instagram or on YouTube and saying new track out now, if you have a producer audience that would get value from a tutorial, you could title it something like how to make a really big drop lead. If you're drop lead is a really big drop lead, and people might search that, like how to make a sick serum drop lead in 5 steps. And then they find your tutorial or your video, and when you start the video, you say, hi, I'm so-and-so, and my new track is out now. I'm gonna show you how I made the drop lead for the track. If you wanna hear it, here's the link to it in the top of the description. Now people are finding your track when they wouldn't have found it if you would have just focused 100% on the music and just uploaded it right to social media. The second area where people really make mistakes is not involving their audience. For example, a radio show. They do a radio show, but they only put in the radio show tracks from big artists and they don't let their audience submit for it. For example, if you have a producer audience, that producer audience is gonna want to be on your radio show. So you got to think about that kind of stuff and involve them in the process. Give them the opportunity to submit and they'll feel really attached to you and they'll start showing all their friends and it'll really help you grow. And number 3 is being inconsistent. If you aren't consistent, you really just can't grow on any of the social platforms today, because the way the algorithm works is they pitch to people content from people who they interact with the most often. So if they're not interacting with your content very often because you're not posting, then they're interacting with other people and you'll never really be able to climb in the algorithm on people's feeds. So that's why you got to spend a little bit of time on this. You got to think about, are you going to do a series? Who's your target audience? All this stuff. So you can come up with a game plan that'll be easy enough for you to stay consistent. So lastly, let's talk about how to ensure success. The biggest thing is that you don't spend 100% of your time focusing on the music. That was the mistake that I made. You got to spend some time on creating your audience, and you might not think that now is the right time, but if you really want an audience for your music, you have to start building that audience by giving value now. So use the examples that we talked about in this video and try posting for a month and seeing the results. And then the first thing I want you to do is look at the analytics, those results, and see what's doing the best and do that more often. And if you're confused, just ask your audience what they want more of, involve them in your decisions. That's something that I still do all the time on my Instagram story, is asking you guys your suggestions, asking you guys what you're most interested in, what you want more of, and that will really help you and your audience be on the same page. And lastly, you gotta learn to take risks and put yourself out there. So get out there, work on your music, work also on your content, figure out what strengths you have, how you could give value, and just have fun with it. Give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you wanna see more videos like this, career tips, and production tutorials. If you wanna get personal mentoring from me and my team, you can join my membership at teamnbl.com/join.